In today's video, I'll dive into the first part of the project, a rough problem analysis. As I mentioned in the first video, I want to learn more about online education. This means learning about how to transfer knowledge that I acquired over the past 10 years as a UX designer. Not only do I want to learn about online education, as I explained in the last video, this video series is the product itself. You'll not only be able to follow along a real project from start to finish, you'll also learn how to apply the knowledge onto your own or work projects. After successfully testing my video setup in the last video, the prerequisites are fulfilled to dive into the project itself. The general outline is online education. As that's a bit unspecific, let's dive into the process of creating this product to find out more. The first step of the process is defining and understanding the problem. A disclaimer, before we go any further, as this is a follow-along project, you will see the ugly truth of work in progress. This means you will witness a mess of a creative process. I'll intentionally try not to polish everything I do into a high-fidelity, fancy designed infographic. You want to see real work? Well, you will get the ugly truth. I'd rather spend time on the content itself than on polishing everything up to give the illusion of a picture-perfect process you'll hardly ever be able to copy and reproduce. I might throw in a stakeholder presentation or something like this, somewhere in between, as part of how to communicate ideas to people you're working with or for. But as long as I'll be working on the backbone of the idea, it's a mess. Things will change and you'll get a picture as true as possible. If you'd rather watch unreal influencers that spend hours on a picture trying to hide the work behind it, and this might not be for you. Still there? Great. Let's continue. So, the first step of the process is defining and understanding the problem. I want to learn about online education, but that's too broad and not a real problem. What does education actually mean in this context? Well, knowledge transfer. So the problem becomes how to transfer knowledge. Now we have the problem, how to transfer knowledge. That's still kind of broad and there's not a single answer that'll help us. So in order to move on, we need to break up the problem into smaller chunks. What does knowledge transfer actually mean? If I'm not mistaken, a transfer usually involves at least two parties of some kind. In the case of knowledge transfer in particular, we can describe the two parties as sender and receiver. In this context, more like teacher and student. Wow, did we just stumble upon our target group, aka our users? Well, we now have two sides to the problem. The sender, in this context the teacher, and the receiver, in this context the student. From here on out, we have to look at the problem from the perspective of the target group. The teacher faces different problems than the student. Fun fact about why this whole project is a perfect UX case study. Did you ever realize that this is the exact position you as a UX or product designer are usually in? The product that someone is supposed to use requires a lot of knowledge. So you have to prepare this knowledge for the user to be able to actually use this. So you have no way to teach someone to be able to use your product. Well, more on that in a later video. So let's start with the teacher. Well, in this context, this kinda is me. I'm trying to transfer knowledge to you. The problems a teacher might face are, for example, what format to use, how to cut up knowledge into bite-sized pieces, how to come up with or create the knowledge to transfer, how to create something of value. The great thing about these questions is that they'll automatically lead us to more questions, but also to the next steps that we'll need to do. Let's take a look. How to create something that is of value? Well, here the following question comes into my mind. What is a good knowledge product? The value we create versus the effort it actually takes. Do people care what is being created? And what is the problem with existing content? The knowledge questions from before make me question the difference between theory and practical knowledge. Both are important, but on their own they might be rather useless. So many courses and sources out there that'll drown you in theory and methods, but these are often too abstract without a real practical application. So here we are now, a few questions that should help us get started from the teacher's point of view. And to be honest, I cannot answer most of these questions, but not to worry, as each question guides us into what direction to look next. If you look at the rough mind map I created, you see the purple cards. These are kind of action items that will provide us with some sort of answers or the next steps. Let's look at the cards. What format to use? If you're currently watching this video, you'll notice the current format is video on YouTube. I needed to start somewhere. But that's not the answer. In order to get a better idea about the format, we should make some market research. What does it mean? Well, try to find similar things like online education courses and see what they are using as a format. What is the problem with existing content? If you look closely, this one seems to be connected to the market research. And I already put in some points that I stumbled upon on my own journey of becoming a UX designer. A lot of the time, others weren't able to share what they actually worked on due to NDAs or other reasons. Or they would only show small parts of the actual product. If that wasn't possible as well, they would then make it so abstract that the value in the real world application was even less helpful. We see tons of experts out there, but a lot of the time, the evidence of them actually improving products is merely a story we need to trust them on. With this project, I'll try to counter a few of these points, but this point still needs some more research. And finally, the leftover cards lead to the following. Managing the gap between theoretical and practical knowledge. Well, this is why I'm treating this course as a product, and thereby show the messiness of the whole process. Do people care what is a good product, and how about the value versus effort discussion? All these questions can be answered by the process and by defining key performance indicators, aka KPIs. So we now have the following things to look into alone from the teacher's point of view. Market research about the format and the problems with the existing content. Oh, by the way, you might wonder why I'm making another course, even though there are so many out there. I did want to teach, and I think I might have more to offer than the others. But the market research might actually prove me wrong. I might find out that the content out there is great and I'm not adding any value. But this is also the reason why I'm doing the problem analysis. If the problem is already solved, I can just stop after the research and conclude that I won't add anything to the market at all. Also fine. The process that will eventually provide us with the answer. And the answer might come in form of a KPI we need to define. Before we go into all of these points, let's take a look at the student's problems. A student might wonder how to find the right course, what to learn, what do I want to become, what is my goal, and also how to learn UX. And to be honest, I'm currently more on the other side of this target group. So please help me out in the comments with the problems you face as someone wanting to learn about UX and product creation. But I can try to continue anyway a bit further. Regarding the question on how to find the right course, this sounds like something a bit of market research or research in general might help out with. What to learn and interested in becoming what? This leads to the question, what are you interested in? This question I can't answer, but I can provide you with the following. What am I interested in and what am I good at? Because that will guide the content of this course. And you could just figure out if this is something you might be interested in. Regarding the goal question, I'm aiming at people that actually want to learn and are not here for some sort of certificate. In the end, in UX, your work is your certificate. So it is better to spend time on creating something than on just learning for a piece of paper without any real application. How to learn UX? This one we need to figure out together. From your experience, when did you excel in learning something? As I mentioned in the previous video, I do learn best from practical applications. So I'm still currently looking into ways for you to participate and or maybe creating follow-along projects. Maybe even helping out create this product you're currently watching, as I still don't have an audience yet and there's no need to focus on this right now. I have some rough idea regarding participation and actually gaining some real-world experience, but that's a point for another time. The takeaway from the target group of the students is market research and research in general on finding the right course, providing an answer to what I'll focus on during this course, so you can figure out if this is a UX direction you want to take. And some open questions about how you actually learn best. And this is a question for the comments. Just let me know how you learned best in your life so far. And then we'll see how to work this into the course. In order to keep this video rather short, I'll give a quick recap of what we did so far today and what we'll take a closer look on in the next video. In today's video, we looked at the base problem and broke it apart in smaller chunks. Thereby we discovered our target group, or what seems to be our target group. And this seemed quite easy, and this might be different in each project. Then we took a look at our target group or users and their problems. The teacher and the student both have different problems, and looking at the problems, we already identified ways that might provide us with some answers. So in the following and upcoming videos, I'll try to cover the open points from today. I'll do some market research on format, finding the right course, and problems with existing solutions and content. I look into the key performance indicators or KPIs that will help us decide if we are doing the right thing here, and I'll explain the process that will help us answer questions early on. Furthermore, I'll try to clarify what type of UX designer I am and thereby who the content might be tailored to. Finally, I'll look into the comments regarding how you learned best. As this might not be enough, I might create some more detailed questions and ways of having them answered in order to also get some more ideas about this point. Thank you for watching this video. Please share, like, comment and subscribe to this channel. This is an important key performance indicator regarding the value I create here. I'll go deeper into why this is important in future videos. Just so much for now. I'll interpret no likes, shares and subscribes as failing to actually provide any value for you. Your feedback will help shape the way these videos go. So, thank you. Bye.